Alright, so a little background story. I just moved into this house, and there's not nearly enough storage room for all the stuff that I have in this garage. The previous owner was nice enough to leave these shelves, but as you can see, they're not very sturdy. So I am going to get rid of those, and I'm going to put up a set of shelves that I'm going to build. The shelving unit is going to consist of 2x4s and 2 sheets of plywood. It's going to be 8 feet high, 8 feet long, and 2 feet wide. Okay, so what I've done here is I got my saw set up to 21 inches so that every time I need a piece cut, all I do is slide the wood over and it hits the edge and it won't let me go anymore, and I'll be able to get 8 pieces cut at 21 inches. I got my sawhorses all set up. Plywood's laid out, measured off 24 inches to make it a nice even cut down the center. Ensure that you set your saw blade to the correct depth, no more than 1/8 of an inch below. Alright, so what I have laid out right now is as a front support for my shelves. I want them to be at 24, 43.5, 72, and at 96. We have to cut out 4 inches for each shelf, approximately 1/2 inch deep, so that the shelf can go in there and have proper support. Because I have an electrical outlet on this wall, I have to adjust my shelves. Ideally, I would want them at 24, 48, 72, and 96. But because I have to work around that, I have to cut my second shelf a little bit shorter, which will work out a little bit better for some of my tools. My next step is to cut out 4 inches in between for each shelf. On the right, I've already cut it out for one piece and used the chisel to level it off. I've set my saw up so that I will only cut down 1/2 inch. I'm lucky enough that my saw has an adjustment that I can set it up with, so I can just slide it back and forth. Otherwise, I would be using a circular saw, which I have done in the past. It works just as good. This is what it should look like after you're done cutting it. Lots of very small slice marks. The smaller you make it, the easier it'll be to finish. I saved the last one to show you guys how I do it. Typically, I use a 1-inch chisel. Then I just stick it up against the wood with the back end, the angled end facing back. And I just pry and keep pushing. And then I go to the middle, pry, keep pushing. Same thing on the other side. If you cut it thin enough, it all falls off really nice. Once you're done with that, then you just flip it over backwards again. Go with the grain, makes it easier. And I like to smooth it out a little bit, because not all of it will break off. Doesn't have to be perfect, but something's better than nothing. Will give you a better finish. The next step I have to do is to connect the 8-foot 2x4s with the 21-inch pieces to make a total width of 24 inches. This is accomplished just by putting 2 screws on each end. After you make your rectangles, the next step is to mark your wall for where the shelves are going to go. I find it easier to make one measurement for the bottom and start with just one piece. Once you figure out where that is level, you can then attach the support braces on the edges. I start by just putting in one screw in each corner up into the wall. This provides enough force to hold it temporarily while you get everything else in place. After I get it screwed into the wall, I grab the front support braces and I attach it with one screw, making sure that the 2x4 is pushed down to leave enough room for the plywood to go underneath in the gap. After I get the first piece set in place with the support braces on, I measure up from the first piece to the next piece, where the top will be. Since the braces are on, it makes it really easy to set up. All you need to do is insert the rectangle into the notch that you cut out, and when you lean it back towards the wall, it will somewhat hold itself together. Be sure to have a drill ready with the screw, because all you will need to hold this thing in place is one screw. Once you get that one screw in place, work your way down to the other side and put another screw in. Upon completing that, you can come out to the front, and on the support brace you can add 2 more screws to help support it. After you have the rectangle screwed in to the wall in the corners and also screwed in with the brace, what you want to do before you put the plywood down is put 2 screws in each stud along the wall. This is most likely overkill, but it's a good thing to have just in case you overload the shelves and your screws can't hold the weight. Because you cut 4 inches in between each piece on the support brace, this makes assembling the plywood a whole lot easier. All you need to do is put the plywood in on an angle, bring it up towards the front support braces, stick it in between, and then lean it back so that it's flat. The plywood should drop in perfectly fine with no hassles. Alright, so here's the completed shelves. Only took me about 3 hours to do. Once you get the first section level and you work your way up, it goes really fast. As you can see, it clearly holds a lot of weight and it's extremely sturdy. Don't have to worry about this thing shaking or falling down. The whole house ends up moving instead of the shelf. So it's very sturdy, very cheap, only cost me about 53 bucks. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out my other YouTube videos and subscribe for more upcoming projects. Please leave comments below, let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks again.